How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelate Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be unboxing, setting up, and reviewing the floating GHOUL animatronic from HalloweenCostumes.com. Now, they were very nice and sent this to me as a little promotion I'm doing with them. If you guys want to buy this guy at any point in this video, use that top link in the description. That's a special link that will help me out personally, and you could go on their website and find some awesome animatronics just like this guy. So be sure to use that link if you want to use them. Without any more hesitation, I'm really looking forward to setting this guy because I have not seen a single other video of anyone having him or buying him. So this is basically a first exclusive look at this guy. So let's get him unboxed and set up right now. Alright, so here's what you're greeted to when you open up the box. It looks like there's this plastic part here, which is interesting. There's also a try me button. That is unseen for most props. They never come with stuff like that. And here's the rest of him. There's just a lot of clothing in here. I'm not sure where his head is. It's buried in there somewhere. But let's start taking everything out of the box. Alright, so first thing out of the box are the directions. We're going to be needing these. But good thing is, it does not seem like the most complicated setup. It looks like just simple as always, which is good. But we got to get everything out first. Give me two instruction manuals, actually. So that's interesting. Piece of foam for shipping. First thing we're going to take out is the module itself. This is a very large module, very interesting looking. There's the try me button right there. That's really cool that it comes with it. But we're going to put this off to the side. We don't need it just yet, obviously. I'll lay that down nicely right there. Looks like we just got some of his clothing. And here we go. Here's his face. I'll bring it up to the camera so you can get a better look. Alright, so here's his face, and what an awesome ghostly face right there. I think it's pretty obvious they got some inspiration from the ghost face mask here, but it definitely looks different enough where it's its own thing, and it looks really creepy. I love how that looks. I believe the eyes light up green, so that's going to look really cool, but it's a lot bigger than I thought, so that's awesome. Let's continue unboxing the rest of his parts. Alright, next thing we got is arm poles. So, yep, there you go. Last thing is, of course, his base. So now that we got everything out, let's start setting him up. Alright, so the first step is to put in his leg poles, as pretty much always is with any standing animatronic like this. Alright, here are the leg poles. Let's get them snapped in. And just like that, his leg poles are in. Easy as that, always very simple. Let's continue to the next step. Alright everybody, the next step is to get this big mechanism on. So, let's do it. Alright everybody, now we got his mechanism on. So, this is looking really crazy so far. I've never really seen a mechanism like this. I'm sure some of you have though. But anyways, we got it on and I'm really excited to get the rest of him set up. So I believe the next step is to put on his clothes. So let's do that. Alright, so here are his clothes right here, or his body I guess, since he is a ghost. But this is looking pretty simple so far. Just gotta slip it right over the top, of course. They look nice though. I'm really liking how they look. Well, after taking me longer than I'd like to admit, we finally have the clothes on. It's always a struggle with these clothes, I tell you, but once they're on, they're good. But anyways, I think the next step is to get his arm poles in, so let's get that done. So here are the arm poles. He doesn't have hands, obviously. It's just going to be sticking out. You'll see him moving soon. But this should be pretty easy, so let's get it in. Alright, and there we go. Now we got both arm poles in. Now we're up to the final step, which is to put on his head. So let's do that. Now let's get his head put on. Alright everyone, there we go. He's now all set up. I'm just going to attach a few wires and then he'll be ready to actually activate. But his head adds a lot to his height. And I'm going to be honest, he is way taller than I expected. He's a really tall prop. I'm guessing around 6.5 feet tall, not quite the 7-foot mark, but he's definitely up there. So he's looking really awesome so far. He's a really cool, just classic ghost animatronic with a really awesome face. So, without any more hesitation, let's turn him on. Alright everybody, so now that you saw this guy's unboxing and demo, I think it is a good time to start reviewing this guy. So I'm going to break it down into a few separate categories like overall look, animation and phrases, and my final thoughts and the price of this guy. So to start off, we'll talk about his overall look. So for his clothes and I guess his body, since he's a ghost, the sheets are actually quite detailed. They're dirtied and just, it's better than it being a solid white color. I actually like the detailing on it. But the main thing here for his design is his face. It's an extremely simple prop all around, but his face is what really sells it for me. So obviously, it kind of looks like Ghostface the slightest bit with the way the mouth is shaped, but I think it's very unique in its own right as well. I really like how it's designed. It's really creepy looking, and his eyes flicker green as you saw in the demo. But seriously, I think he has a fantastic design all around. It is basically one of the best sheet ghost props ever made, I have to say. I really do think that with this guy. And I really like classic sheet ghosts when they're done properly. And for sure right here, this guy was definitely done properly. So that's all I had to say about his overall look. I think it's perfect for what he needs to be. He does not need to be highly detailed since he, again, is meant to be a sheet ghost. So I think they pulled that off with flying colors.
Now for his animation and phrases. Overall, I think his animation is actually pretty decent enough. I like the rotating motion he has, and his body kind of sways as well, so every time he goes around, depending on the wind or whatever, he'll always be in a different position, which I think is really cool and unique. And I just think the animation is simple enough for a ghost prop like this, and it's definitely better than some other sheet ghost animatronics that I've seen for sure. But seriously, I think the animation does what it needs to do. It's simple and it works. For his phrases, I do like the ghostly audio a lot. There really isn't too much to complain about that either, as it is just as simple as it should be, and it's good. It fits the prop perfectly. So overall, I do think his animation and phrases do exactly what they need to do.
Now to talk about his price and my final thoughts. So this guy's price is shockingly low. $110. That's it for a 6.5 foot prop. That's all he costs, which I think is a fantastic price all around for obvious reasons. $110 for a life-size 6 foot character is basically unheard of these days. So you are getting some massive bang for your buck here by purchasing this guy. Again, use that link in the description if you want to buy him. But seriously, again, $110 for this guy is mind-blowing to me. So I'm really, really liking that price there. That is a really, really great price for the floating ghoul. Again, search up floating ghoul with that link in the description and buy this guy, because only $110. Seriously, what a great price. Alright, so now for my final thoughts and my final rating of the floating ghoul from HalloweenCostumes.com. So before I get into my rating, I just want to say a few more things about him. For one, I do think he's a little bit cheap looking, and definitely not the highest quality animatronic. But again, for $110, you really cannot go wrong with this, regardless of its quality. And I don't think it's going to break down or anything. I'm just saying, I really don't think it is made out of the most expensive materials, of course. But it doesn't need to be, but I still think it looks cool. So overall, it's a great prop. But for my final rating, I'll be giving the floating ghoul a 9 out of 10. I think that is a fair rating for this guy, 100%. His price definitely helps him get bumped up to that rating as well, though. But for the prop itself, I do think it is still a really fantastic sheet ghost all around, and I really, really love it. But with that, everybody, that is pretty much it for my unboxing, setup, and review of the floating ghoul from HalloweenCostumes.com. Just one more reminder to use that link in the description if you want to pick this guy up or anything from their website at all. But with all that, everybody, be sure to like and subscribe as always, and also check out, again, that link in the description. But with all that, thank you so much for watching, and as always, this is the Pixelated Pumpkin, signing out.